Well, hello there. Welcome back to TYT Sports. A little strange intro, but we'll go in. We are smooth DJs on 102.7. Jason and Francis
TYT
FM.
Sports FM.
TYT Sports. So we have some great stories to get to, in which involves a lot of world football, some doping, and some LeBron James. So let's get to our first one, which is the Euros. So it is fast approaching, Jason, only a few weeks away after the regular season has come to an end, but not before we have our Europa League game and we have our Champions League final to attend. But the squads are out. Many of the teams have been displayed around the internet. You can see them. We have the England. Some squads are being withheld at the moment because there is still games going on. I think there's some players that are not joining the Italy team until after Juventus playing the Italian Cup final. As for that, we'll put that aside and we'll look to who we think at this early moment to predict our winners for the Euros. So we talked about players to watch. You can check out that clip. Ding, ding. That's what a mirror is, Jason. Gotta remember.
You're getting better at that.
And I'm not. I'm awful. But let's take a quick look at some of the squads who have been released. And I'm going to do this in order of who I think is the favourite. I know I'm going to be boring and go with France. Look at the youth, Jason. Look at the experienced youth. Dynamic, good-looking, zesty French team. Defenders, Rafael Varane, not is featured as recent as much as he would like for Real Madrid, but he is a phenomenal centre-back. Mangala, water boy! Jeremy Mathieu, experience for Barcelona. Patrice Evra, Sagna, and of course, Jallet and Lucas Digne. So a strong defensive lineup. I don't think that in this tournament, I know we've seen in the World Cup, we've seen defensive efficiency go on to win World Cups and tournaments before, such as with Italy in the past. Germany had a strong defensive unit. Going to go out there and say it. I think the game is changing a little bit with our fast-paced counter-attacking teams, that you need to have a good defense, as we see with Atletico Madrid, but you need some ferocity going forward and some speed. And France have it in abundance in their attacking threat.
But they don't have my favorite player.
Who?
Karim Benzema.
Karim Benzema's not there. Well, he dabbled in some sex tapes. Ever since he started hanging out with Rihanna before, it was just all downhill from there. Team chemistry is essential for major tournaments because you don't get to play with each other all the time. You might play against each other. Yeah. You need to come in and you need to mould very quickly. That's why at the moment, I think Bonucci's upset that he can't join the Italian national team because he's not even allowed to play for Juventus because he's suspended in the Italian Cup final. Right. But they're withholding him. And he wants to go and join because he wants to start training, he wants to start getting used to the players. So it's all about getting them in there and starting early. But France, they seem that they've found common ground now. They've got a good combination of youth and experience with some just world-class talent in there. They are my team to watch this tournament. They are my favourites. They are the bookies' favourites. What's the odds we have right now?
Bookies' odds say France 7-2, 3.5 to 1 is really what it is. 3.5 to 1 to win the whole tournament. They are the outright favourites, but not far behind at 4 to 1, just 1/2 point away are the reigning World Cup champions, and a team that is equally as terrifying as on paper as France, I would think at least, is FC Bayern Munich. I'm sorry, Germany.
But I don't know if you made that as a joke or yeah.
Because I mean, look at it: Bayern,
Yeah,
Bayern,
good joke.
Bayern, Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Bayern Dortmund.
That's pretty good.
Sorry, but yeah, that's.
But by the way, man, if you thought that this team are not going to come gunning for their opponents,
good, man.
They are good. Okay, so here's the big points.
But what's their best? What's their strongest part?
Usually, it's going to be their midfield, right? Because in the World Cup, we've seen that midfield partnership of Toni Kroos, who really came alive in the 2014 World Cup and earned that worthy move to Real Madrid. Bastian Schweinsteiger's a surprise in there because he hasn't featured a lot this season. Kimmich is a player that's played a lot for Bayern, is a versatile player in there. Julian Weigl has been phenomenal for Borussia Dortmund this season. A big blow that Gundogan's not there due to injury. He would have been a key player to play in there. Mesut Ozil, of course, for Arsenal. But I think this year, it's all about how they line up top because they have that missing factor that they were able to go and win a World Cup without, and that's Marco Reus.
I was going to say, the shifty and quite fun FIFA player, Marco Reus. I actually, Marco Reus on the wing is fun, man. He's fast, he's quick, he's talented, and these are all things everyone knows. But the whole point of it being is Germany won a World Cup without him, so adding him just kind of just, to me, shifts the odds almost in their favor to win the whole thing.
But let's move forward to the next lineup that we have our Arsenal, and it is the mighty England.
And they're actually, you know, considering England.
Bold decisions, yeah.
The world, I mean, look, for the World Cup, you know, there was a lot of hype and optimism going in for England, and they didn't really turn that into any kind of success in the 2014 World Cup. But in this tournament, Only one other team, which we'll get to later, is favored ahead of them. They're 9-1, fourth overall to win the whole tournament.
Interesting.
And they took your advice. Francis made a call to England, and he said, I think Dele Alli should be on the team. I think that Marcus Rashford should be on the team.
Rashford. Franny Maxwell coming in clutch.
Jamie
with
Vardy.
Rashford.
Jamie Vardy's not young. We know he's 29, but it's new faces.
You're right. And arguments I had on Twitter with people saying that Jermaine Defoe should have been there. He's been given his chance at England. He's resurgent for Sunderland. Sunderland! They are bottom of the table. They just emerged out of relegation. Marcus Rashford has proven that he can show up in big games against Manchester City, scoring in the Manchester derby, scoring against Arsenal, scoring at will, helping this Manchester United team emerge victorious. There is no chance anymore for England to go with experience. Michael Carrick wouldn't have been in the squad for me. There's too many people in there that are being given that position just because they're weight. And some people argued, Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney's still contributing. He's going to drop a little bit deeper, I would hope, if I was Roy Hodgson, and allow for Kane and Vardy to move up there. But Rashford provides that versatility. Not a lot of these big teams in Europe have played against him, and that's kind of the fun part of Manchester United being shite, is it never come up against a Bayern Munich's, all those big teams. So they're not going to know what to expect from this youthful individual. I'm not saying he's going to go in and work wonders, but undoubtedly he's a better choice than any of the other strikers that they could have brought in there because, yes, Andy Carroll's a big lump that you can throw the ball up to, and he's had a great season. I'm not discarding Andy Carroll. I'm just being as honest as I can because that's all I can be. But he's a separate option that provides just something a little bit different than the strikers that they have up there. He's got direct ability to take people on one-on-one. He's got a great eye for goal, and he's just a better option to bring off the bench.
Yeah, I was going to say, with Rooney in the lineup in the starting 11s, when it comes to it, I don't expect him to play. I don't know. I could be wrong about this. I'm going to ask 90 minutes in every single game.
No.
When it comes to the 65th and 70th minutes, who comes in for Wayne Rooney?
Marcus Rashford.
Marcus Rashford.
I think you bring it and you put Rashford up top. You maybe take out. I think you'll make. He's got the ability to make a dual substitution. He can maybe bring out Vardy because he might not even start Vardy. He might not even start Kane. It's just he could start Rooney up top himself. I would hope that I've talked about my lineup. I would go with Vardy and Kane. I don't care if both of them are not used to playing with each other or playing one up top. They're professional footballers. They work differently. Harry Kane likes to drop deep, pick up the ball. Jamie Vardy can work in behind. There's so many options that Roy Hodgson has. I just hope, for England's fans' sake, I know there's this assumption that Scots don't want England to do well. Put it out the window. I've got a bunch of friends that are English, blah, blah, blah. It is kind of fun to hear all the hype because I think it's the English media that's a problem. But I do think that he has a great chance and a great ability to work with a good group of players that could go on and at least make this tournament a success.
I think Roy Hodgson can get retirement or just old age discounts for plane tickets if he starts David Beckham and Wayne Rooney up top.
I would love it. We would love to see it.
David Beckham could still play if Rooney's playing. David Beckham.
He's that good looking, he could. All right, our next team that we have gone through, Italy. As I said, Bonucci's not been included or allowed to go as of yet because he's still. He is on this list, sorry, but he's not joining them. So, really interesting. Look at the lack of defenders.
Look at the goalkeepers. Buffon's done. He's retired.
No, Buffon will join, but he's. That's what I'm saying. They can't join until they finish their regular season, so they've not been included.
He's a staple.
No, Buffon's there. Buffon's there.
He's the best GG in the world.
Chiellini's there. Barzagli. There's a bunch of players that haven't been included, but I wanted to highlight a couple of players really quick. One of the most important players that are going to be involved in this tournament for Italy. So obviously the huge loss for Marco Verratti in there will be criminal for Italy. The guy is a talented midfielder, allows things to move forward. The thing about Italy is if they are to lose individual players, they're probably one of the teams that are equipped to do so because they're such a bound together unit. But when you have Fabio Barini in there, who's just a hit and miss at Sunderland as a striker, I know he's not going to start. You've got Insigne up top, who's had a great season for Napoli. I just don't see. That's what I was. I don't see a great Euro for Italy. I like the Italians. I just think they're going to be strong at the back, but I don't see a great.
Look at the rosters we just looked at before, and look at just the forwards alone. No disrespect to Eder and Insigne and all these guys, right? But attacking power, how are they going to score goals compared to that of France, Germany, England, and then we're about to look at Spain. Like there's. I know, defense wins championships. We've seen it in the Champions League this year. We've seen Juventus make a Champions League final last year, which is composed of a lot of Italian-born players. But you need this. You miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's been Italy's problem that's been kind of on the surface for a while, is that they relied on Balotelli, who was able to drag them out of some games. Exactly. When you start a sentence with "we relied on Balotelli," it's not going to end very well. They've needed that since the Pip and Inzaghi days, and when they won the World Cup a while back, they had gifted individuals in there who were able to get them over that hump. But
8 years ago?
yes, but I just think that they need that star striker. But a team that has no lack of firepower in the attacking third, but is left out some controversial figures. Our last team that we're going to look at. Don't worry if your team's not been on this. There'll be plenty more clips on the Euros. I want to get to Portugal and Belgium and all those guys. But with time coming through, we want to make sure that we highlight one of the teams that I think could be a dark horse, and that's Spain. They are not happy. They are not, and you can tell that Vinny Del Bosque, is not allowing anything to kind of float by. If he wants to make a decision, he is just cutting everyone in his way. So straight to the forwards first. No Diego Costa, no Fernando Torres. In the midfield, no Juan Mata.
But your boy, you mentioned.
Saul Niguez.
Niguez, and you mentioned Aduriz.
Aduriz. Great season for him. He seems like, similar to the Jamie Vardy effect, there's new face, but he has been around for a while. In his 30s, he has been fantastic this season for Bilbao in front of goal. He's a needed striker, but we know Morata is a useful player up top. It's all about how this midfield works together, because Spain have won the World Cup and the Euros based on their midfield. The Iniesta, the Xavi era, they're considered one of the best national teams we've ever seen. They once played a game, and their formation, Jason, I kid you not, was a 4-6. They never went with a striker. 4 defenders, 6 midfielders.
I like that formation.
And that's because he was in a candy shop. He had nothing. He was actually just stuck on the main course, Vinny Del Bosque, and he couldn't get a dessert. So he just ate 2 main courses. Look at some of the players that we're going to have in there. So Busquets, expect to start. Koke from Atletico Madrid. Great testament to his career this season. Saul Niguez.
Iniesta's last.
Iniesta, I think it might be his last. I don't know. We'll see. Iniesta's the type of player that can continue to just surpass.
Last Champions League final we watched, or Champions League semifinal too. I watched Iniesta make a. They kept saying, "Look at him turn back the clock on that amazing Iniesta run." So I think he's still got a tiny bit left in the tank.
Isco in there. Pedro, I was surprised to see included over the likes of Juan Mata, who's featured more so than Pedro has this season. But he's a different attribute to add in there. So it's been a lot to discuss. But as for our predictions, Jason, your last one, France for me. Who do you have as your early prediction for the Euro? We'll probably change it as we get closer.
I know this is probably a bad idea, but I take England.
England to win it all.
Yeah. Jamie Vardy's the man.
I know I don't.
Can you imagine the party in England with Jamie Vardy winning them the Euros?
I just can only imagine my English mates. Oh, we fucking won it. Oh.
Party like it's 1940.
Party like it's 1962.